Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about sugar baby and sugar daddy is a form of prostitution. Sugar baby and sugar daddy is a form of prostitution. Now, I've been looking at these people. You got sugar babies and sugar daddies on YouTube, and you got people trying to do their little stuff online, okay? And I come to realization here that a lot of women don't want to admit they have signed up for this idea, okay? They don't want to admit that this is a form of prostitution, okay? A lot of them contradict themselves and say it's not prostitution, it's a sugar baby service. No, you are expliciting yourself for these old men to get money. That's like selling your soul to get money. Okay? Let's not try to get out of that. Okay? A lot of you trying to deny that idea because y'all feel ashamed. Okay? But let's shame the devil and tell the truth. Because see, the more y'all deny, the more y'all don't want to accept the truth that y'all doing this. Now, I'm going to read this form, this Lipstick Alley form. Okay. This is what gets me here. Okay. I'm going to read this very well. It says, I was scared he'd kill me. What it's really like being a sugar baby. Okay. She said, I posted a lot on this topic on this board. This girl's experience of sugar sums up what I believe is the average experience and reality of the world. Okay. I'm glad there are more stories coming out like this rather than the Rimsco stories of girls lying to make themselves feel good about their lives. This girl is only 24. She said, I was scared he'd kill me. What it's really like when sugar daddies pay your way through university. Jessica Hire, 24, says, vulnerable girls are being lured into dangerous sex work for promise of introductions to wealthy, generous mentors. Jessica turned to sugar daddy dating after getting into debt while studying at a university in Manchester. People, money is not idolizing money and selling your soul for it is not good, okay? It was supposed to be a short-term fix, but it had damaging long-term. Well, yeah. If you're selling your soul, you're going to have damaged long-term effects on your soul, okay? Consequences for the vulnerable student. Becoming a sugar baby on an established website was easy, but the pay-per-dates arrangement soon became sex work for Jess. She became reliant on the large amount of money she received in exchange for dates and sex with older men. She told the men it was quick cash for desperate 19-year-old who has supported herself since leaving home age 16. For the reality of a sugar daddy was dating for the glamorous, far from glamorous. It was far from glamorous. In fact, it was dangerous and isolating for Jess, who has been left traumatized by some of the encounters she had with so-called sugar daddies. Jess, who lives in South Manchester, now wants to lift the lid on sugar daddy dating and make young women and men aware of what entails and some of the risks. The 24-year-old is also setting up a support network for so-called sugar babies, offering them safety advice, someone to talk to, and advice on how to get back into regular work. The way sugar daddy dating has it glamorized is problematic, says Jess. There are vulnerable girls and there are underage girls who lie about their age on their websites. Don't get me wrong, there are some girls who love it and have successful relationships with men on there. This is where I don't quite agree with this part here. Because, see, the men, a lot of times these men are married. Okay? A lot of times they have relationships with other women as well. So this here is just, all this is fornication and whorism. Okay? All the power to those, but the ones, she said all the power to those who need support and have awful experience like myself. That is important to me. People shouldn't think it's all rosy glamorous because it's not. Well, if y'all keep contradicting yourselves, see, what I notice about these girls, they say it's not good to get into, but yet they, a lot of them trying to say, it's not all that bad, you know. They still try to say it's not all that bad by contradicting themselves. You can't be contradicting yourself. Is it bad or is it good? And most of the time, whorism is not good. Okay? It's wicked. Jess grew up on Stoops Estate in Burnley, one of the most impoverished postcodes in the UK, and left home when she was 16. She went to college before gaining a place at the University of Manchester to study English and drama. A year into her studies, Jess was in what she describes as financial ruin. Okay, and she was 2,000 overdrawn, owed 300 to pals, 200 to her sister, was in red 800 to PayPal, and faced eventual 48,000 university costs. The earnings from her part-time job as a waitress weren't going to pay the debt she owed. Then the advert popped up on her Facebook feed featuring a sugar daddy dating website. They target students, and you actually get a free premium account if you have a student email, said Jess. When you look at the page, there's an image of a young, attractive man. They make you think these men are mentors and that they're going to help you with your career. Men who don't view you in a sexual way, when really sex is usually the end goal. Okay? So you can't say they don't have sexual encounters when they end goal is sex. Okay? This is how they contradict themselves. They say, oh, they don't usually ask for sex. Then why are you saying it's the end goal? Is their end goal? Jess said it's soon becoming apparent that sugar daddy dating was a scenario when older wealthy men lavished a young girl with gifts or long-term financial support. Instead, men were using it as a way to pay students for sex. At first, she would meet men for dates only making between $70 to $150 per meet. But as her financial circumstances became more desperate, she agreed to have sex with the men she met online for much larger sums of cash. On the first arrangement of this kind, Jess was picked up from a student house in Fallowfield by a man driving a Lamborghini. She said, my first proper sugar daddy message saying dinner and date and night in mind for $1,000, says Jess. I never been on a date like that, but I was desperate, so I had to take the risk. I got in the Lambo and he passed me $1,000 in cash, a weight of 20 notes with a ring on it. I've never seen that amount of money before. That was one of the few glamorous occasions of sugar daddy dating for me. I was so scared I asked if I could get out the car and he posted money through the door in case he killed me. I felt I had so little choice at the time, I just did. Jess estimates she met with around 50 men through her website over 4 years. The men she met were usually in their 40s, 50s with a variety of jobs backgrounds. Okay, some were wealthy businessmen or doctors, but some she knew very little about. They don't all have loads of money, as Jess. In fact, some are really tight. What sugar daddies seek from sugar babies varies. Jess says some want to take the girls on dates, have the girlfriend experience, while some ask for arrangements where there are no sexual limitations and want to indulge fetishes. No sexual limit. See how she contradicted herself? She just said the end goal was sex. But they know, they don't arrange for sexual limitations. Some don't. That's what she said. That don't make sense. If the end goal is sex. And then she said indulge fetishes. And fetishes have sexual content in that. Okay? Let's continue. Just says she often hears the seedy reality of sugar daddy dating from her friends. Some of my friends thought it was really fun and glamorous, but that was only because I didn't tell anyone. See? What it was really like. Most women don't, she added. Most of us wouldn't admit what it's really like unless it's to another sugar baby. I sugarcoated at the time. Sugarcoat. See how they do that? She admitted that she sugarcoated, okay, at the time because I didn't want anyone to know what I was really doing. I did feel a lot of shame because of the men and women view for sex work. But you can't deny that it's happening. It's not going to stop. Jess said the longer she did sugar daddy dating, the more risk she took. It all started to have severe effect on her mental health, which is her soul. She said she was left traumatized by some of her experiences with men who paid her and has had therapy to recover. I don't think she recovered from that because if you ain't got Jesus Christ, this is why she still, once you get into you're used to the money and it's hard to get out. See, say just you start lowering your standards and you start taking risks because you need money. And when you get the money, you spend because you think this is an easy life. I was making up to $600 a day sometimes, but not all the time. It was enough to support myself, but also my problems. My mental health severely deteriorated around this time, and it was heavily influenced by what I was doing. I felt so isolated, and there was no support for people like me at the time. There's nothing for girls to chat on the site I use. I reported a number of users to the site and never got a response. None was taken seriously. I'm not saying that all men on there are nice, but in my experience, the vast majority of men don't treat you like a human. A sugar daddy once said to me, I usually go for girls who are less pretty like you because they are less confident to them in investment and a sexual investment. Jess managed to extract herself from sugar daddy dating last year with therapy and the support of her partner. Jess has taken control of her mental health and has recovered from some of her experiences. When I say some of her experience, means she's not fully recovered. If you ain't got Jesus Christ in your life, you ain't not going to recover from that. Because see, what she did was she mingled with different spirits, and different spirits have vexed her. She needs to seek the Father. She needs to repent. Okay? Where we at? Okay. Her aim is to get a job as mental health support worker and start her master's applied theater in the autumn. Her sugar baby support group will be open to students turning to sex work through websites to fund their time in university. I managed to get out sugar daddy dating, and I want to be part of the process with other people. I want people to know that I'm not judging those with positive experience. There's no positive experience in this, girl. What are you talking about? You just had a bad experience. See, that's the problem. She's still sugarcoating. This is why she's not fully recovered. I personally had a terrible experience at the time. I felt there wasn't support available to me. I want to provide that support for men and women without judgment. See, she don't want to judge righteously. A lot of them want to condone this sin. Okay? That's not good. This is why she's even admitted that she's sugarcoating. Okay, let's continue. What it's really like when sugar daddies pay your way through university. Now, this one right here, she says, as someone who was raped by a so-called sugar daddy, I applaud her for sharing her story. I no longer do this and would never do it. It was not a positive experience, and one which almost cost me my life. I remember failing to kill myself, ended up in the hospital. I really wish they would either shut down SA or SA starts venting everyone's background. Women are not safe, and even the men in some cases are not safe. It's in everyone's best interest. Nothing could possess me to do that. Okay, she cursed. Again, I did it twice, and that was enough for me. Both ended in disaster. Okay. This person, I have never had horrible experience as horrible as that. I honestly have said for a long time that I feel Johns who go for escorts are less. Now, this one right here, no matter what prostitution it is, all of it is bad. Okay. She's also trying to sugarcoat. She's trying to say Johns that go for escorts, less dangerous sugar daddies. They all the same. Okay? They all the same people, all the same men. The most opportunist men are they're all the same type of men. So she just contradicts herself. Now this one right here, I like what this one says. The issue is there's no screening in sugar daddy. These girls are always going out on a limb meeting these guys. Also, a lot of sugar daddies are hardcore Johns. Okay, and they are blacklisted by career prostitutes, but they can get on these sites and be anyone. It's dangerous. I can't wait until seeking arrangement goes offline. It has glamorized prostitution to girls and women who would never otherwise be in business, and they are automatic at loss. Also, ruin the rates of real prostitutes. All those are prostitutes. Okay, no matter if they are real prostitutes because you are selling your soul to men. Guys can get on seeking arrangement and spend hours and days and nights with someone inexperienced for a fraction of what they pay a call girl. SA is paid all the way around. Now, here we go. This one said, it was harrowing experience. One I do not wish to repeat. I actually saw the man who raped me recently. This is how the rape occurred. He guilted me into going on a weekend gateway with him. I drank. I remember throwing up and him cleaning it up. He woke me up in the middle of the night, started touching me. I pretended to not take a notice and persisted. He fingered me and touched me. I went along with it, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I told him to stop, and he did, but then tried again. I remember saying no, and saying I wanted to go to bed. He kept trying, eventually stopped. The next day I woke up, and there was blood all over the sheets, and her, was sore. Okay? She said, I told him about the blood, and he put the sheets in the washing machine. We went to another hotel where he tried again, and I refused. During dinner, he called me a hooker because I told him I didn't want him to buy me shoes. He then kicked me out of the place when I went into the room to cry. He kept calling me after a text and saying he missed me, etc. This dynamic went on for about a month until I called him out. A few months later, I told him he assaulted me and should treat women better. He obviously refused to accept responsibility, accused me of trying to trick him, so I sent a screenshot of his abusive message where he had called me names for refusing to sleep with him and asked for their allowance. I was promised. At some point, he even threatened to put out a press release about me, saying he would destroy my reputation. Even at my lowest, I stood my ground with this man. I called him out and read him for filth. I sent everything to his daughter and told her I wanted to know her father was a foul predator who likes to abuse and take advantage of women. I would like to add that I never got anything out of this man. He brought me a pair of shoes once because we were walking and my meat were hurting. He would say he would deduct the dinner and coffee meals we had for my allowance, but he never gave me one. He claimed gave me $5. Okay. I'm gonna post this in down in the description box below. Notice this. This is why I want to touch on this, okay? The women wants to prostitute themselves, but don't want to be treated like a whore. I'm going to say this again. The women wants to whore and prostitute themselves, but don't want to be treated like, don't want to be treated like one. When you put yourself in a predicament as to be a sugar baby, you have signed yourself up to be a whore for men. So the men look at you as such. You don't put yourself in a whore predicament and think you're going to not be treated as a whore. Y'all understand this, women? Y'all go and y'all want to be in whore predicaments. Y'all put yourself in whorish jobs and don't want to be treated as a whore. A whore is a whore. You don't go into prostitution thinking you're not going to be treated as a whore. I mean, use your mind, women. Use your head. This is where they contradicting themselves. They put themselves in form of the prostitution ring and don't want to be treated as a whore when they know what they putting themselves through. You know what you getting yourself into. You getting yourself into sex work, which is a form of whorism. You still is part of the blame on that, women. You still are. You can't just blame the guy when you the one wants the money from the guy. Okay? Y'all got it's part of you to blame too, women. You go out here, y'all want money. Y'all selling your bodies, you selling yourself for the money to these men. Then you don't want to be treated as the whore that you have brought yourself to be. God tell you not to do that. He told you not, women, to not sell yourself this way. No, they want to contradict themselves and be in denial mode. They go out there and whore around and don't want to be treated like a whore. You are a whore. You whoring around. You doing it. Selling yourself for money. That's a whore. Know what it is. If you don't want to be a whore, don't be in that business from the predicament. Don't be in that. Don't be in it from the get. Use your head. No, they want to get online and want to accuse the men for being abusive, but yet you sign up for the crap. You sign up for it. This is what gets me. You put yourself in predicaments that y'all do not need to be in. And then y'all want to blame the man for the same stuff you put yourself into. It makes no sense. You the one who wants to be a sugar baby. Nobody forced you to do that but yourself. Because you wanted money. You wanted the money. You idolized that money. It is you, women. And gay men. I know some homos do it too. And you all know better. Y'all put yourself in whores and fornication predicaments and wonder why y'all getting abused. You should not be doing it in the first place. God tell you not. Disobedient generation. Disobedient. This is the problem. Y'all weak with y'all soul and then want to blame the devil. Okay? Because see, we should blame the devil. But y'all still agree with it. Y'all agreeing with the devil. Okay? Oh, man. People, God said prostitution is bad in the living word. Now, I'm going to put the verses about prostitution in the King James Version Bible down below. Okay? But I want to say this. We should blame the devil because the devil is the one that's doing the wickedness out here. But you are agreeing with it, people. Y'all agreeing with the devil? And this is where you're supposed to resist the devil. Okay? Stop agreeing with these demons. And then you won't be caught up in Your mental health. See how she was saying about her mental health? That's her soul. That's her soul being in problems. Her soul. We should be blaming yourself along with the devil because you agreed with the devil to do that wicked stuff. So I'm going to put the prostitution, where God talks about prostitutes in the King James Version Bible, all that scripture. So you can see that, women, in the scripture box below. Read it. Read it. So you can see that y'all are going against the Father. Serve this word here. Jesus Christ is God.